Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of NTV Seeds of Gold, proudly brought to you by Bukola Chemical Industries Limited and Youth Platform Africa for the Expert Opinion segments. I am your host Sheila Nabafu, and it's always a pleasure to be here. Goat farming may look simple, but running it as a business requires a great deal of planning. Good structures, proper breeding cycles, feeding strategies, and smart selling decisions. So tonight we take a full look at how a herd becomes wealth step by step.
As you see, in the background we only have males. It is intentional to keep these males here because we do what we call synchronization. Synchronization is simply that you decide when your goats or your nannies, it means the female goats, when they have to be pregnant and when not to be pregnant. This is gold, as we are on this program, Seeds of Gold. This is gold. The only difference between the real gold is that this gold multiplies, the other one does not multiply.
Goat farming, you get excited about it, and especially when YPA is involved. But do you know how to cash into it? Well, today we at YPA, and Samuel, head of veterinary services here, is going to take us through a few things that you must do to make sure that you can capitalize on commercialization in goat farming. It's nice to have you on the show, Samuel.
Nice to have you too.
So, we would like to know so much more about how to get a herd this big to become bigger, how to take care of them just right, so that if we are to sell, we make so much money.
Thank you so much. For the very start, the goat business is one of the profitable businesses we have so far in the market, and it will still be, because in the goat business, we deal with production of meat and milk. But for us as YPA, we specialized in meat production. So if we specialized in meat, there is no any single day that people will miss out to eat. So people will consume meat from now and always. So, and the population is just increasing, whereas the number of goats is reducing. So for us, we shall keep in business every now and then. But when you're trying to start a profitable goat business, of course you have to look at certain key factors, and these are some simple aspects that many of our farmers in the country have failed to deal with, and that's why they are making mistakes down there.
We kick it off with structures and hygiene. A good structure protects the herd. For instance, ventilation reduces disease. Raised floors keep bedding dry, whereas clean water prevents infection.
So what you have to consider in the first place, it should be the breed, but we shall put the breed in the second place, because some people will go in for the breed and again will not consider where am I putting the breed. So let me start with where I'm putting the breed, then I put the breed in the second position. So where am I putting the breed? You see, one of our structures here. This is where we keep our bucks, as you see them in the background. These are the money-making machines. Without this, no mating can take place, fertilization will not take place, so the females will be of less importance. So when you're dealing with the structure, it should be very simple, because in any case, there is no way you will sell the structure. People who always come, they want to take what is in the structure, not the structure. So there is no reason as to why we should invest more money in construction of the structure than in the goats. But despite the fact that we are using limited resources or we are putting in less money, we still have to consider the key aspects of a standard goat pen. So what are the key aspects of a standard goat pen? One of them is the playing yard, as you see it here. You have to construct a simple fence. We use chain link because it is durable. That's why we use chain link, and it allows in aeration because we don't want smell in the goat's pen. That's why we use chain link to construct the perimeter fences. And in the perimeter fences, after using the chain link, we have to be having the playground, because these goats always want to play around. Then after playing around, we need the shelter. This shelter will help us. Now, like now, it has rained. But these goats, you see, none of them is wet, because goats naturally do not like rain, or they do not like water.
Yeah.
So what we do, we construct a shelter such that when it is raining, they go, they under the shelter, then they come out when it has finished rain. Then the other aspect, we should have water troughs. As you see these water troughs, and water must be there when it is clean, because goats will need to take water, just you as a human being. This water also helps in simplifying the digestion process. Then after that, we shall also need what we call a crush, or the spraying area. That is the only place where we can confine these animals. We confine them there and we do everything that we want. Any activity. When you want to ear tag, when you want to deworm, when you want to vaccinate, when you want to spray them, that's where you collect these animals from. And we also count these animals every morning and every evening. It's the spraying yard or the crush that will help you to control these animals. Then you have to also consider the area or the land where you're constructing this pen. It should be gently sloping, such that when it rains, all the rainwater can easily go out and the pen dries very quickly.
Well, up next, we look at breeding. To most, breeding determines the strength of your herd, the growth rate of kids, the milk yield of the does, and ultimately the income potential of the firm.
After having a standard goat pen, now we shall go to the breed.
Yeah.
Now, where are you getting your breed from? Now, this is where the logic starts from. The goats, naturally, we have many breeds of goats around. We have the Boers, we have the Savannas, we have the Mubende, we have what? Many breeds of goats. But I'm talking about the YPA breed. Why? This breed is a combination of 3 breeds, different breeds. The Boer, the Kalahari, and the local Mubende of ours, for different reasons. As you know, the Mubende is very good at tolerance in diseases and the weather conditions. So we considered the Mubende. The Boer, of course, it has bigger muscles. Well, everyone knows. So this goat can grow very fast, but it is also resistant to the diseases and the harsh climatic weather conditions in the country that we are in. So choosing the breed matters a lot. Why? It is this breed that is going to make you money, not the structure that we constructed in the preamble. Now, what am I considering about the breed? You have to consider a farm that has history of the animals, because we do vaccinate these animals, we deworm these animals. Now you have to also track the breeding program of these animals.
So a farmer cannot afford to rely on guesswork here. A strong breeding program begins with selection. A buck should be the best animal on the farm, healthy, well-structured, and from a productive lineage. Look at it this way. A good buck can easily transform a flock in just a few seasons, whereas a weak one can set a farmer back by years. Get the gist? Now for the does, the focus is on fertility, mothering ability, and body condition.
As you see, in the background, we only have males. It is intentional to keep these males here because we do what we call synchronization. Synchronization is simply that you decide when your goats or your nannies, it means the female goats, when they have to be pregnant and when not to be pregnant. So you either go for 2 ways. You go for the artificial synchronization or the natural synchronization. In the artificial synchronization, it is similar to the natural synchronization. They only got one hormone that is called the GnRH, or the gonadotropin releasing hormone. That is the hormone that they got, and they made it artificially. So it's what you have to inject the animal such that it stimulates the ovulation process and the animal goes on heat. But for us, we do it naturally. We keep these bucks aside for a certain period of time. Then we target, like now we are targeting November, December. That's when we shall introduce them back to the nannies. Now they will do their work. And keeping them this side gives them enough vigor. When they go back, they are strong and they have too much desire for the females. So that's when they will mate with these females.
Simply put, a breeding doe should be alert, well-formed, and able to conceive and win kids consistently. Timing is equally important.
We expect our goats to give birth during the dry spell. And in the dry spell, there are always hot temperatures. These hot temperatures do not favor bacteria multiplication because they are too hot, and the bacteria want somehow warm conditions. So the hot conditions will not favor bacteria multiplication. That's why we do this natural synchronization. Those who go for the artificial one, yes, they are also there, but it takes some little process because you have to get the GnRH, the gonadotropin releasing hormone. After getting that gonadotropin releasing hormone, you inject it in that animal. It releases, in natural synchronization, the GnRH is released by the hypothalamus. When it is released by the hypothalamus, it induces the pituitary glands and it releases what we call the follicle stimulating hormone. Now it is the follicle stimulating hormone that promotes the growth of the follicles in the ovary, call it the oviduct. Now when the follicles grow or are stimulated or they increase in the oviduct, it results into the production of another hormone that is called the oestrogene hormone. It is the oestrogene hormone, when they increase in the number, they release what we call the luteinizing hormone. Now it is this luteinizing hormone that will be responsible for the release of the egg. Remember, the fertilization takes place in the fallopian tubes. And after the egg has been fertilized, it goes to the uterus. But before it goes to the uterus, the other luteinizing hormone produces another hormone that is called the progesterone hormone, which prepares the uterus to receive this pregnancy or the egg from the fallopian tubes. So that's how the process goes for synchronization. So when we introduce our males back to the nannies, that's what we expect.
Thank you so much, Samuel. Now we are going to take a very short commercial break and we'll be back with so much more on how you can capitalize on goat farming. You want to line your pockets? Do not go away. Don't forget that this show is proudly sponsored by Bukola Chemical Industries and YPA for the expert opinion. Keep scanning the QR code on your TV. Join the conversation. I know you want to. We are listening, we read, and we enjoy it. You can tell us what you would like us to look at next. You want us to visit your farm? Don't be shy. Talk to us and let us know. We will be there. Welcome back. We are glad that you are still with us. Goats reach maturity at around 7 to 10 months, but breeding too early leads to weak offsprings and stunted mothers. So the ideal time is after the doe has reached at least 2/3 of her adult body weight, so that she is strong enough to carry birth and nurse.
Now, we expect these animals to get pregnant, and these goats will give birth in a period of 5 months to 3 weeks or 6 months. Now, in that period, we are preparing ourselves. We are ready to get our babies. We always get very much babies in the pregnancy in that season. So when we get these babies, of course, we have to take good care of them because we know these are the profits in the business. However much you keep this goat, it will never grow to the level of a buffalo. It will still remain a goat, despite the fact that it will not look that like the normal goats that we always have down there. So this goat will take good care of the babies, as you know. Some farmers have struggled to take care of their babies or their goats down there. Still, if you don't know, we can still provide expertise to you. But if you know, or if you lack some simple experience, now you are good to go. We take good care of the babies such that when they grow, remember, when a baby is taken good care of, or a kid, I'm calling it a baby to some people, when it's taken good care of, in 6 months, a kid that is produced by a pure YPA breed will weigh between 25 to 35 kgs. So it means you are ready even to sell. That is when we shall go into marketing. That's where we shall fatten our animals. These animals are fed on a free range system. Why do we feed them on a free range system? It is because they have a diversity of shrubs to feed on. Remember, if you have a good breed and you feed it poorly and you manage it poorly, it will not give you what you want. You still have to manage this breed very well. You still have to feed this breed very well. So in the fields that they go to graze, they also make exercises. Exercises help them to look muscular as they are. Despite that, they are of a good breed. Then after, we go in for fattening. Now we have gotten the kids, we have the mother flock, we have our males. Now we go in, we are looking for the profits because I've told you this business is a profitable one. Remember, a goat has a high twinning ability among all the animals that we have. A goat can give birth to 2 or 3
kids.
So when it gives birth to 2 and in a year it produces twice. So you have your goat today, it gives birth to 2, then you wait for other 6 months, it gives birth to other 2, you have 4 plus the mother, those are 5 in 1 year. So when you sell off, let me say, I have 100 goats. Now they have given birth for the first time. I have 200 kids. Let me say 50 have died. I've remained with 150. Even in the next season, I get my 150. In 1 year, already I have a profit of 150 kids, plus the mother flock of 100 goats. 250. So those are, no, the 250 are kids only. Because in the first season, we got 150. In the second season, another 150.
300.
So, plus the mother flock. You already have 400 in the first year. Remember, the 100 have died. We are only remaining with this
300.
flock. So, you say that now, I've used a lot of money. So, I want to get my profits back. You took good care of your goats. You dewormed them very well. You vaccinated them very well. We have 7 dangerous diseases that we vaccinate against these goats. So you have vaccinated them very well. Everything is in order. What you have to do is to sell.
Successful goat farming is not complete until the goats are sold and sold well. Demand for goat meat rises during festive seasons, weddings, Eid celebrations, and this is Seeds of Gold after all, so we will share the mining secrets.
Many people don't know where to get good market for their animals. They are overexploited by traders down there. This is gold, as we are on this program, Seeds of Gold. This is gold. These goats are gold. The only difference between the real gold is that this gold multiplies, the other one does not multiply. So when you have multiplied your gold, there is no reason as to why you sell it so cheaply. You have to sell this gold so expensively. Now that's when you will find people who have a good market, and then you will contact YPA for that good market. We shall buy your goats.
So you had mentioned 7 deadly diseases. What are these diseases, and at what point do we vaccinate each of these diseases?
So among the diseases that we have in this business, we have what we call goat pox. We have what we call PPR, that is in short form, but it is called the Pestides Pestitis ruminatis. That is PPR. It is one of other deadly diseases.
We
have what
PPR.
we call CCP. It is called the contagious caprine pneumonia. When we are in veterinary, we don't call these goats, we call them caprine. They fall under the caprine family. So that disease is called the contagious caprine pneumonia. We also have what we call OFF. We have another disease that is called brucellosis. We have foot rot. Sometimes we are attacked by FMD, foot and mouth disease. So, and clostridios. Those are among the diseases that we vaccinate. But my fellow farmer should not be worried, because these diseases attack us. But when we vaccinate before they attack, we are on the safe side. So vaccination helps us in a way that, remember, a vaccine is made out of the same virus that causes that same disease. They get a virus that causes the disease, let me say OFF. They get that OFF virus. They put it in an inactive form, such that it is not active. When injected to the animal, it does not cause any disease. But when you vaccinate, or when you induce this vaccine in the body of the animal, now the body will realize we have got a foreign body. So it will produce more antibodies to fight against that virus. But remember, this virus is in its inactive form. So when the real virus comes in, the body has more antibodies, so it can easily fight against this disease.
Yeah.
So that's where you are safe. And the other thing, all these diseases, yes, can attack us, but we do some preventive measures. We have the quarantines. I did not talk about the quarantine under the qualities of a good goat pen. Why I did not talk about it? Because I don't expect YPA goats to be taken and they fall sick, because they are vaccinated and well cared for. But when you're at your farm, you have to have a quarantine such that when they fall sick, you separate
from
them and you leave these ones alone. Then you treat those ones symptomatically and you leave these ones this side. Some other diseases can also cause the cough. Talk about the contagious caprine pleural pneumonia, the CCPP, one of the vaccinatable diseases that I told you of. It is caused by a bacteria, one of the dangerous bacteria known as the Mycoplasma capricolum. But the other thing that will cause the cough, it might be due to failure to deworm or the delay to deworm. Remember, when these goats go to the feeding or the grazing yards, they find feeds with some white eggs, or those white substances. They are eggs of these goats. Those eggs will stay on those feeds for as many years as possible, not until they are fed on, or that grass is fed on by the animal and it is ingested in by the animal through the digestive pharynx to the 4 stomach chambers of the goats. Now when it enters the rumen, for it will not go and complete the digestive or the digestion process. When it enters the rumen and it goes in through the omasum, it will look for its way out to join the small blood capillaries. Then it will join the small blood capillaries, and it will join one of the veins, the major veins that supply the lungs, that is called the hepatic portovein. As these goats, or as those eggs move through the mouth, the digestive pharynx, the rumen, they are developing. They undergo 4 to 5 stages. At the 4th stage, they are very much effective. Now, at this stage, when they join the hepatic portovein, they are in the 4th stage. Now they will go into the lungs. When they go into the lungs, in the lungs, we only expect gaseous exchange in the lungs. So when these worms, now by this time they have become worms, when they enter into the lungs, the goat will fight so hard so that it expels these worms out of the lungs. Now when the worms are trying to expel out of the lungs, they come back to the mouth. Now this is when the goat will start coughing, when it is trying to expel these worms out of the lungs, which will come back to the mouth, and later they will be again ingested by the animal, because these goats do not spit like us, the human beings. Now when they are ingested back again to the digestive system, whatever thing the goat feeds on, the worms will also feed on this thing. So this cough can also be caused due to failure to deworm, or the delay to deworm, and they will start coughing when they are trying to expel these worms out of the lungs.
So you did mention that you keep these here, get them excited before you can introduce them to the nannies again. The issue of inbreeding, isn't that a problem for you?
So inbreeding simply means a mating of animals that are related. Let me say now the father mounts the children. That's where we shall get inbreeding. But now when you closely look at these goats, they have 2 ear tags.
Yeah.
Each ear has 1 tag. That one tag represents the farm number. We have 174 farms, and on 23rd we are opening up other 10 farms. So we shall go to 184. But these goats have tag numbers. Now it has farm 6 YPA. One tag is YPA, another tag is farm number. So it can easily be identified that this goat goes to this farm. Now when it mounts the mothers and it gives birth, for the second time it comes to mount, we keep these kids to another farm. After they have suckled, now these males are here, they are with the mothers. Now we introduce other males to the kids that are not related to this, because crossbreeding is done to make sure that the good characters of this animal become dominant over the bad characters. Now when you do inbreeding, it means the bad characters now will become dominant over the good characters. We crossbreeded with Mubende. We wanted the good character of disease resistance and tolerance. Now when we do line breeding, that good character now will be hidden, and now the bad characters of the failure to resist to diseases, harsh climate, now will become dominant over the good characters. So that's how we easily control inbreeding.
Well, today we were supposed to have a team in Mbara handling the famous and renowned Seeds of Gold Farm Clinic in Mbara, but alas, we can't have it because of the outbreak of the foot and mouth disease. Now, for farmers to be cautious, and because we care about you, we can't help ourselves, we have our experts tackle the issue on how you can mitigate any trials and tribulations with the disease. We have experts from Bukola Chemical Industries. Do not go away.
Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Ivan Kisache. I am the head of Animal Health Division at Bukola Chemical Industries Limited. Today I come here to discuss foot and mouth disease, what people call FMD, what people call Kalusu. It is a very serious problem. It is a viral disease that is very contagious. It affects mostly the cloven-hooved animals, for example, the cattle, the sheep, the goats, and also the pigs. Now, FMD, as many people know it, it is spread through different channels. For example, human movement. You find that, for example, a goat farmer is handling this certain number of goats that are affected with FMD, and at the same time is going to handle another goat farm from somewhere. So it is moving the disease from one point to another. So the other way of it spreads to other animals is through direct contact, sharing contaminated feed, sharing contaminated water, and also equipment. So it is very important to know how it is spreading so that we can control it. Now, how do we know that FMD is the problem? What are the signs? How do you know? One of the things that you have to consider is the reason why it is called foot and mouth. It affects the foot and affects the mouth. So you find the wounds on the muzzle or the nose. At the same time, you will find on the feet. So these wounds are usually fresh wounds, and at the same time, you also find under the tongue, you find lesions, fresh wounds even on the gum. So it is easy to tell or to suspect that this could be FMD in a goat or in a cow. So the other thing is because it is not eating, and the reason why it is called Kalusu, the animal keeps drooling saliva because of the wounds in the mouth. It cannot eat. So for those ones that are milking, of course, you expect reduced milk production. When you see these signs, ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing you have to do is to isolate the animals. Get your goats, get the sheep, whatever animal that you have, isolate it from the rest of the herd. Put it somewhere. And then secondly, you have to understand that foot and mouth disease is one of those diseases that are a public good. So public good meaning that it is the mandate of the government through the Ministry of Agriculture to control the disease. So what you do after isolating the animals, you go ahead and call or report the disease animals to the relevant authorities. So the relevant authorities, I talk about the sub-county veterinary officer, there is the principal veterinary officer of the district, and also you could also reach out to the sub-county chief, basically to make sure that the government knows. Now, when these people know, they escalate it upwards to the Ministry of Agriculture, who then bring in the experts to take the samples, take them to the lab, and confirm that exactly this is foot and mouth disease disturbing your herd. Now, we have a tendency of not wanting to report these cases, and this also has brought on the spread of the disease, because you can imagine when a farmer, they have a tendency, they know the goat is sick of FMD, they will just move them to the market. These cattle markets, animal markets, they sell knowing that indeed it is a problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, I urge all farmers there, when you see the signs that I've talked about above, make sure that you report to the relevant authorities, that's the government, through the principal veterinary officer of the district. Now, I want to talk about how is it controlled. Now, the control of FMD is in several ways. One, biosecurity measures. Now, you have a goat farm, but you have these friends of yours that come along always on the farm. They just enter the farm and go out. Those ones can bring in the disease or the virus. Now, what do we do? With biosecurity measures, biosecurity means making sure that the disease or the virus does not enter your herd. So to make sure that it doesn't enter your herd, make sure that you disinfect all those people who come to your farm, disinfect all vehicles. It is called, you put a tire bath, especially at the entrance of the farm. Put a tire bath and put a disinfectant so that the disinfection happens as the car is moving to your farm and as the car is going out of your farm. So on free range, it is very important to know, even the free range, there is where they feed from, a gazetted place where they feed from, and also there's where they sleep or they spend most of their time where they are not feeding. So it is very important to make sure that the people who come to your farm are disinfected. You can use hand disinfection, you can use a knapsack disinfection, whichever way you choose. Whoever accesses your animal should be disinfected. A veterinary doctor could come to your farm, make sure that he's disinfected before he gets into contact with your herd. And secondly, it is public awareness, what we are doing right now, because it is very important for the farmer now to know what are the causes, what are the signs, and what to do when they see foot and mouth disease. Now, the most important thing is vaccination. Vaccination is done in all animals that are cloven hoof, the ones that we talked about, the cattle, the goats, the sheep, and the pigs. And it is done twice a year. Every 6 months, it is done. Now, the vaccination program of foot and mouth disease in Uganda is the mandate of the Ministry of Agriculture. So they procure the vaccines, they disseminate them to the district veterinary officers or the principal veterinary officers, and then the district veterinary officers get to your farms to vaccinate the herd. When the government gets to know that this is indeed FMD and confirms it is indeed FMD in your region, what they do is they put a quarantine to make sure that the disease doesn't cross to other regions. It is contained in that one region and then it is managed from the same region. So the quarantine is put, and the quarantine means that no animal or animal product is going to be allowed to move from that region to go in any other region. So they are going to monitor over time through the principal veterinary officer, and then they will lift it when they see fit, when they confirm that there's no case of foot and mouth disease in your region.
Okay, I want to talk about kids. Usually, we face a lot of problems with kids. They are not very easy to manage. And for any farmer out there, this is the profit. It is very hard to find that your goat has grown from maybe 50 kgs and it is now 100 kgs. If it is 50 kgs, usually it will remain at 50 or 55. But this kid that is now 1 day or 1 week old, you will find in 6 months, it is 35 kilograms. You see, this guy here, if it is now 25, if it is now 5 kgs, in 10 years, in 1 year, in 6 months, you'll find it has grown. The weight has increased. So this is the profit. This is the business. Usually, why do we lose kids most often? The reason is one. We lose kids because they are tender, they are fragile, they are not easy to manage. Usually, if kids get sick within the first 3 days of their life, it is very hard to save them. The first 3 days of their life, it is not easy to save them. You see, so it is usually very, very impossible to save them. For example, if they are diarrheating a lot, if they have respiratory problems, it is very hard, especially when they are born in rainy season. Now, what do we do when the kids are born? What do we do when the kids are born? Immediately they are born. So here, there is an umbilical cord. You see this one has just been cut. You can see here. This umbilical cord is where we put iodine. We put iodine here. As soon as it is born, we put iodine here. Why do we put iodine here? We put iodine here because we want to make sure this thing clots very fast. If it clots very fast, it means it is not going to allow germs to enter. Remember, it is born to the ground, and the ground has the germs. And this guy is still fragile. It has been in the stomach, enjoying in the womb. So now it is still feeling heavenly, yet it is on earth. So we do what? First time, you do it very, very, very fast. You put iodine here, then you put iodine on the tongue. Because immediately, after 30 minutes is also, I think, a lot of time. 15 minutes, this guy is going to be up. It has been born, 15 minutes later, it is going to be up. And what does it do first? Suckling. And who has washed the udder? No one. So this guy is going to take in dirty germs. So what we do, we put iodine on the tongue. Instead of running after its mother, catching it, then you put iodine or you wash. It will, after washing, it will again lie down and the place gets dirty. So Tugema, we prevent by putting iodine on the tongue and on the umbilical cord. These are two major entries of germs that will kill these goats, even when you are vaccinated against Clostridios. So Clostridio will kill these goats. They will be born when they are weak. Rarely do they survive the first week. They die within the first week. If your kids are dying most often within the first week of their life, just know that it's Clostridios. You need to vaccinate the mothers, not the kids. So we vaccinate Clostridios when the goats are still pregnant, not these kids. So if these kids are affected by Clostridio, then we start vaccinating them against Clostridiosis, which is usually in kids. So, ladies and gentlemen, we also have another thing. Sometimes these guys die of hot water. We look at them and we look at the pressure gun or the pressure pump. Then we'll be like, kanakana bwenaka kuba amazi tekafe nogamba kankaleke naye enkwa yo bwebeka luma enkwa tekasasira. It will suckle the blood and spread the disease. So spray it very well. Number 3, keep them from direct wind. Keep them from direct wind. These guys are still fragile. Who gives birth without a baby soul? So why don't you have baby soul for your goats? You cannot have this goat unless you have a baby soul. A baby soul is what? Keep them away. When it is time for suckling, like now, bring the kids back. Let them suckle, then in the evening, take them. If you look around, you can see those kids now. They are like, So it means they have finished suckling. They need to be taken back to their house. And this house should be guarded against direct wind and direct what? Direct sunshine or rain. These guys should be safe. Another thing there is that make sure these guys feed. Usually they don't feed enough. Remember, if it is 1 week old, it does not know who is their mother. It is the mother who will know their kid. But remember, it will only talk like me, so it cannot call Jovan. neither can it call Carol. It will just be meh. And this guy will not know, is it my mother? Oh, it is not my mother. So usually they go after other goats. So if you're not there to help them in the first week, you find a lot of issues. These guys tend to be hungry and they die of hunger. You find a kid, or even they are born maybe 3. That is why we put a system where if a goat gives birth to 3, we take 1 and we feed it on cow's milk. That is why we have cows there. Those cows are not giving us milk for selling. It is milk for these guys. So we really value the kids more than we value. And here, if a kid dies, you get bigger penalty than when an old goat dies. It is really not understandable, right? Yeah, but that is it. This guy of 5 kilograms, if a goat of 80 kilograms dies, it is understandable. That is if the circumstances are understandable. But this guy, there is no circumstances understandable. You must keep this guy. At least let the mother die for it stays. Why? In 6 months I'll have the money. The other one, I'm not sure whether I'll have bigger money than it is right now. So, and also there is insurance for that guy. But this one has no insurance until it is 3 months. So it is my responsibility to grow it until it makes 3 months.
You had it here first and ever, pretty much every day, whenever we have the expert opinion. And that's all we had for you today on this episode. You want to make more money with your goat breeds? Well, YPA is the place to go. Don't forget that you can scan the QR code on your TV. Keep those comments coming in. Hashtag NTV Seeds of Gold. It was always a pleasure. I've been your host, Sheila Nabafu. Stay tuned for NTV Weekend Edition.